Are you ready to study the Word of God, yes or no? All right, let's do it. Let's get into this series. By the way, I didn't tell you this, but in a few weeks, it won't happen anytime soon, but these screens for all of those who are sitting in the risers, which is just so weird to see you back there. It's crazy. And I know I look like an ant, but in a few weeks, I look so small today, everybody. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? Okay, I'm just joking. In a few weeks, when we get the center screen behind us and take care of that, actually, the video feed will be, I'll be up on the big screens on both sides, so you'll see a lot easier. You'll be able to look at my bald head. I'll be so up close and personal with you. It'll be awesome. That won't happen for a few weeks. And these screens are going to be moved over and down, and you'll be able to see better. So we still got lots of stuff to do, everybody, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it done. And so today, just bear with us. In a couple weeks, it'll change. We are going to continue the series on Song of Solomon. We're talking about marriage and relationships, and this is both for singles, for those married, for those divorced. It really applies to everybody. And again, today, which I've been doing a lot lately, I'm going to come out of the corner swing, and I'm going to give you 3 things that you need to write down as we talk about Song of Solomon, chapter 7 today. So we have one more week of this series. Next week will be the final week of this series. And it's been so much fun this summer going through Song of Solomon. I hope you've learned something. I will tell you today that I told you that the PG-13 days are over, and they are. But today we're going to read some things in the Bible that's just straight out of the Bible. And if you want to read ahead a little bit, if you have a child in here that's maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, and you want to read ahead just for a few minutes to see if you're, I'm just going to read what's in the Bible, y'all. That's what I'm going to do. But there's some stuff in there. How many know what I'm talking about? It's a little spicy in the Song of Solomon. So that's up to you. If you want to take them into the kids' ministry, that would be great if they're not ready for this. But write this down. Marriage is a covenant, not a contract. I say that now at really every wedding that I officiate. It's rare that I don't say it. There's a lot of people think that, well, hey, we're getting married. We've made these vows. And hey, as long as I'm happy and as long as you're faithful, as long as everything's good, I'll be faithful too. But then all of a sudden disappointment comes. And I want you to know a contract, when there's disappointment, there's oftentimes a departure. Well, you disappointed me, so I'm departing. That's a contract mindset. A covenant is different, that when you disappoint me, I don't depart, I actually go deeper into the relationship. My commitment is going to show at this point. Why? Because we're under a covenant. We are not under a contract. We're under a covenant. So disappointment brings determination, is how I say it in a wedding. Disappointment brings determination because you're in a covenant. A contract, disappointment brings departure. Everybody see what I'm saying? So we're talking about a covenant, not a contract. Second thing, marriage is a journey. It's not a destination. So a lot of you singles right now, you're like, oh, I can't wait to get married. It's going to be so great. Most days it will, but not every day, because marriage is filled with 2 imperfect people. And you'll never have the perfect marriage, but you can have a great one. You'll never have a perfect marriage because you're both imperfect people. And if you're single and you think, well, marriage is the destination, I'm telling you, marriage, the wedding ceremony is the beginning of a journey. It's not a destination. It's actually the very beginning of a journey, a journey of covenant, a journey of service and love and care, mutual respect, mutual honor. I'm telling you, marriage is not a destination. It is a journey. It is a journey that you take. This is a good one. Marriage is a garden, not a factory. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Meaning marriage takes a lot of cultivating. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of planting and, sowing and watering and trimming away all of the weeds. It takes a lot of work. A lot of people think you've gotten to this point in your marriage that it's not a garden anymore. It's just a factory. Well, this is what we do on Mondays. This is what we do on Tuesdays. This is what we do on Wednesdays. This is what we do over the weekend. And it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it has become dull. It has become boring. It's become lifeless. And you're like, my marriage used to be great when we were, newlyweds. My marriage was really great, the first year. Or, the relationship was great when we were dating each other. But once we got married, it kind of just went, I don't know where it's at. You think it's a factory, but it's not a factory. marriage is a garden. Marriage is a garden where you not only plant, you not only sow and water and prune, but actually you reap the benefits of it. There's fruit involved, everybody. There's a harvest involved. It's a garden, not a factory. And if you think, right now my marriage is just a factory. It's just the day, well, today's Monday, so we do what Monday says we do. And then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and every day is the same. Every week is the same. Every month is the same. It shouldn't be that way. Your marriage is meant to be exciting, not just for the first week or month or year of your marriage, but for the entirety of your marriage. And if you are not excited in your marriage, something is wrong. Something's wrong, and that's what we're going to talk about today. In fact, that's what Song of Solomon 7 talks about. So now, everybody, the courtship has happened. The wedding ceremony has happened. The honeymoon has happened. That was a big week. And now all of a sudden we are deep into the marriage now. Okay. So now we're going through the day to day. And I'm going to teach you this really the word is exegesis, like an exegetical fashion. I'm going to kind of take you verse by verse for a little while before I give you these 7 signs of a healthy commitment, which is what we're talking about today. 7 signs of a healthy commitment. That being said, Song of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 1. Here we go. It says, this is from the man. This is from the man. How beautiful your sandaled feet, O princess daughter. Your graceful legs are like jewels, the work of an artist's hands. And some of you ladies are like, oh, I wish my husband would speak to me like that. I wish he would talk to me like that. Can I tell you, he might be wishing that you talk to him like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of goes both ways. In fact, what I'm going to point out to you in these verses, that it really does go both ways. And I'm going to break this down verse by verse. So first of all, he says, how beautiful your sandaled feet. Now remember, on the honeymoon night, she was being undressed from her head all the way down. And now all of a sudden, you're going to find out he's starting at the ground, working his way up. But it's different. It's different. Now he doesn't just say feet. He says sandaled feet. And that's different. Because sandaled feet shows your day-to-day life. He's saying we are in the daily routine right now. We're both, this is not the bedroom moment. This is the life moment. If we were in the bedroom, she wouldn't be wearing sandals. But no, we're working. Now we're out buying the groceries. Now we're out taking care of the kids. Now we're out running them to school. Now I'm out in the field. I'm like, it's day to day. And he looks at her and he says, look at those sandaled feet. Let me ask you a question. Of all of the things that we would say, like, what's the grossest part of the body? Most of us would say, oh, feet are the worst. I am an anti-foot kind of guy. Anybody else like me, you just don't like feet? I can't stand. Some of you like feet? How weird is that? We have a counselor on staff just for you, everybody. I think feet are just nasty. You know what? Like, people do this now just to be ornery, because I said this years ago, and you wouldn't believe the pictures I get through email and text. And like, when people are sitting at the beach or at a pool and then they take a picture of their feet in front of the water, I'm like, don't send me that. I don't want to see your feet. Those things are nasty. Those things are gross. And in these days, in fact, when they would go from house to house in the middle of the day, having sandaled feet, they would go into a house, and actually the owner of the house or the servants of the house would come and they would wash the feet of guests. Why? Because the feet were gross. They were just in sandals, so they were dusty and dirty. And they were walking through fields. And let's just say there were a lot of horses and mules. And how many know what I'm talking about? And so it was considered like the gross of the grossest. And they would wash them before you would enter into the house because they were feet. And he's like, "Hello, I look at your feet. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful." And he said, in fact, "Oh, princess daughter." He said, "Not only do I love your very feet, but I think you're royalty." That's what he's saying. You're royalty to me. You know what I'm thinking about this, everybody? The longer I'm married to Jennifer, the more I just consider her royalty. She's just royalty to me. And the more I get to know her, I'm talking now we're into the marriage a little bit. There's some things that I knew about her before we got married. Before we got married, back in the 90s, a lot of ladies used to wear, maybe they still do, I don't know, I don't ask, but contacts that are colored. Anybody remember those? And when we first started dating, Jennifer had blue eyes. And I told her, I said, we have beautiful blue eyes. She's like, those are contacts. I'm like, well, at this point, we were pretty serious with each other. I'm like, well, I would like to see the real eyes of someone who I'm, courting. And so the next time she came out with glasses on, and my wife has the most beautiful green eyes. They are just beautiful. And none of our children have green eyes. They all have blue eyes. And that bothers me. I wanted them to have eyes like their mom. But she has beautiful eyes. And so there's things about Jennifer I noticed that when we were dating that I just thought were beautiful. But now that we're in the thick of it, like now that we're 27 years into our marriage, there's some things about Jennifer that I didn't find out until after we were just daily living, that I didn't really notice. That I'm still learning some things about her. There's some things that I didn't even consider before we got married, but now that we've been married for a while, you know what I love about Jennifer? This is going to sound so weird. She has great ears. Like if ears were let's say planes, she would be like a private jet, just sleek, just like perfect. My ears are like landing strips, everybody. They're just, you know what I'm saying? Like now all of you are going to be staring at my ears. I'm so glad I'm not on the big screen today. That's good. That's good. You just stay back there. You stay back there. Okay. So I'm talking about just things that you notice over time. And all of a sudden you're like, you're just royalty to me. In fact, everybody goes on to say, remember, your graceful legs are like jewels. Actually, in other translation, it doesn't say legs, it says hips. And what he's talking about, he's not talking about the ankles, he's talking about that which nobody else sees. Because nobody else was able to see that. They might be able to see a woman's ankle as she's walking, and the robe would show a little bit of her feet or her ankles, but now he's saying, no, I'm talking about your legs and your hips. Did you know, gentlemen, ladies are very, very sensitive about their body. Did you know that? Have you picked that up? And I don't know why that is, but ladies are sensitive about their body. I was thinking, in fact, I heard this from another pastor. He said, you look across the room on a Sunday morning and all of the ladies are just exquisite. It's church, they get dressed up, they do their hair, they put on their makeup, they just look exquisite. And you look at all the men and the best word that you can use for them is just hygienic. They're just hygienic. Like, they don't care what they wear. Like, well, hey, dear, you've been wearing that shirt for 3 days in a row. And he smells the armpit. He's like, yeah, it's fine. It's clean. It's clean. I'm good. Because we just like, hey, we take a shower, we're ready to go to church. We don't really care about our looks. But ladies are sensitive about your bodies. You're just sensitive about that. And gentlemen, can I tell you, in your marriage, you need to not only enjoy your wife's body, but you need to brag to her about her body, how much you enjoy. You need to lift her up and encourage her. And when she comes out in that dress, hey, how do I look in this? Does this make my butt look big? You're like, no way, baby, it looks awesome. I've never seen it look better. You need to just build her up all the time, build her up. Verse 2, your navel is a rounded goblet that never lacks blended wine, and your waist, another word for that is belly, by the way. Your waist is a mound of wheat encircled by lilies. Don't say that, gentlemen. Don't say that. Ooh, your belly's so round. It's not going to get you points, I promise. In fact, I was thinking about this. I'm going to say this, and then I'll tell you what he's actually saying. Men, we express our respect for each other, our friendship towards each other in put downs. In fact, I wasn't even thinking about this until last night, but I said something on the night of our fireworks. I went up to a guy in our church, and I put him in a headlock. In fact, he's in the room right now. I'm going to not look at him, but he's in the room right now. And I just caught him out of the corner of my eye, so I'm looking over here. And And I put him in a, fake chokehold, and I called him a big ox. Like, you are a big ox. And then there's some other guys around, and I'm like, this guy, he's like, talk about a bull. This guy is a bull. He is strong. He is like, I got nothing on this guy. So when you see a guy, part of you're showing friendship, or you're like, hey, you big ox. And if you're really friendly with him, you're going to say it and punch him at the same time. You're such a big ox. You're going to push him. You're going to try to put him in a chokehold. And that's how we show respect and friendship with one another. But how many know if a lady's walking across the parking lot, you say, hey, you big ox? How many know that ain't going to fly? And so gentlemen, if you come home and your wife comes to the door and you say, hey, big mama, that's probably not wise. You need to change that. And actually what he's saying here, is, he's not saying, hey, you have this, this rounded belly and this, belly button that I love is what he's talking about. He's actually said belly button filled with wine. And of course, he takes the belly or the waist and he applies wheat to it. And what he's saying is this. He's saying, I'm literally blessed to be your husband. I'm blessed in the spring, wine, and I'm blessed in the fall, wheat. I'm blessed all year round. I'm blessed all the time. Like, I am blessed beyond measure. I don't deserve to have you in my life. You are God's blessing to me. That's what she heard. She didn't hear I'm fat. She heard, whoa, he loves me. He loves me. When he thinks about harvest, when he thinks about the blessings of God, he thinks about me. How many are blessed to be married? You better say yes. You should have said it a lot louder than that. I'm just telling you, you should follow my cues, okay? So let's go to verse 3. Your breasts are like two fawns, like twin fawns of a gazelle. Now, we talked about that a few weeks ago. We talked about, I won't go through that again. We talked about being tender, being slow and passionate and tender. And now they're years into the marriage, and guess what he still is? Slow and passionate and tender. That's what it's saying. Verse 4, your neck is like an ivory tower. Now, as far as we all know, as far as all historians, biblical scholars know, there's never been an ivory tower in the Middle East, in Israel. There's no proof that there's ever been an ivory tower. So why would he say that? What he's saying is, when he says your neck is like an ivory tower, he's looking at her and he's saying, you are priceless. You are priceless to me. You are of worth that I can't even put a value on it. You're so much more than I deserve. That's what he's saying. It goes on. Your eyes are the pools of Heshbon by the gate of Bath Rabbin. Well, this is so interesting, everybody, because the eyes. You remember that song? What he's saying? He's quoting Debbie Gibson. You remember Debbie Gibson? You're showing your age now if you do. The song is Lost in Your Eyes. What he's doing, he's saying, listen, the gate of the city is the busiest part of the city. It's the most hectic part of the city. He said, I don't care where I could be at the gate of the city. And when I look into your eyes, I'm not at the gate anymore. Now I'm in these pools and I'm resting. Like I am lost in your eyes. And he talks about, now what's this? Her nose. Your nose is like the tower of Lebanon looking toward Damascus. You're like, well, that's a put down if I've ever heard one. Well, it's actually not. Because when she would hear, it's the Tower of Lebanon looking toward Damascus, she hears, oh, that's a stronghold. That's a place of safety. That's a place where we're watching out for the enemy. We're keeping everybody safe. As long as they're behind this watchtower, we'll all be safe. And what he's saying, when I'm with you, I am so safe. I'm lost in you, and I feel safe with you. And can I tell you, one of the ways that I have heard this applied, and I think it's so true when I was studying this, that a lot of times what happens when ladies get together, and let this never be said of any of you ladies and wives here at New Song, But a lot of times when ladies get together and they start talking, they talk freely and often talk about their husbands. And well, my husband, he's so weird that he's so sloppy that he's so nasty that he's so lazy that they just put down their husbands. And I want to tell you something about my wife. My wife is loyal. She will never put me down in front of you. I know my wife. She will never speak ill of me. She'll never do it. She's always going to speak well of me. Can I tell you something about my wife? I'm the protector of my family. But I'm going to tell you something about my wife. My reputation is safe with her. She's not going to make people question me. She's going to lift me up. She's not going to put me down. And can I be really honest with you, ladies? If you are constantly putting down your spouse, even men, if you're constantly putting down your spouse, you need some counseling because you have some marital issues that you need to work through. See, here's the other side of it. My wife is totally loyal to me. She will speak highly of me all the time. I have no question about it. But here's the other side. I don't give her a reason to question me. Come on, somebody. I don't give her a reason to put me down. In fact, I give her every reason I can for her to lift me up. I give her every reason I can to praise me. Not that I'm looking for that. I'm just trying to be a man of integrity is what I'm saying. I don't want to give her any ammunition to throw out at other people. Well, you know what? Can I tell you about the real Justin? Well, if my wife went around saying that, it would do two things. First of all, it would wound me because a man's desire, in fact, need for his life is to be respected, and it would feel disrespectful. But it would also be, well, apparently I have some issues in my life that I got to deal with. You see what I'm saying, everybody? So men, be men of integrity. And women, be loyal. Just be loyal. Lift them up, don't put them down. And if you have to talk things through because of some of the things that you're dealing with, do it with the right person at the right time. Can I get an amen to that, somebody? Okay. So that's what that point is. Verse 5. Your head crowns you like Mount Carmel. Your hair is like royal tapestry. The king is held captive by its tresses. So when he talks about Carmel, he's talking about literally one of the most beautiful places in all of Israel was Carmel. He's saying, you are just so, so beautiful. Can I tell you something that I'm going to kind of put a different spin on it. A lot of times, you've heard this back and forth, like, there's a different sides to this about a man saying, well, that's my trophy wife. And a lot of times ladies are like, oh, well, that's all about her looks. You're just bragging about her looks and how dare you? And she's more than just her looks. And can I tell you something? I'm going to look at it at a different way. My wife is a trophy wife, but it has nothing, I should say this, it has little to do with her looks. Now, I think she's the most beautiful girl in the world. I don't expect you to. In fact, if you told me that she's the most beautiful girl in the world, I would take you out back. We'd have a little one-on-one, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about her looks. Think about it like this, everybody, that my wife is my greatest resume. She's my greatest resume. That I'm walking somewhere and my wife was with me and I'm thinking, can you believe she married me? Can you believe that? Like there must be something right about me for her to marry me. Why? Because she's my greatest resume. She's my greatest resume. Men, you need to think that way about your spouse. She's your greatest resume. And if she's not, if she's constantly like, putting you down, constantly, making accusations towards you, thinking things about you that, may be true, maybe not. Maybe there's some things in your life that you got to take care of. And at the same time, ladies, maybe there's something in your life. Maybe you are putting expectations on your spouse that he could never live up to. And that happens all the time. Sometimes expectations, ladies, your expectations are perfection, but you didn't marry a perfect husband. You married a great one, but not a perfect one. Well, Pastor, am I supposed to lower my expectations then? Yes. They need to be achievable. It needs to be something that he could actually accomplish, something he could actually do, and then talk to him about it. To say, you know what, it would be so meaningful to me if you would just, but do it in the right heart, in the right way. And again, if you need help, that's why we're here. Just ask us for help. Okay. Now, verse 6. I told you this is going to be exegesis, just a verse-by-verse look through this today. How beautiful you are and how pleasing my love with your delights. Other translation takes that word delights, and it actually the word used with your charms, The Hebrew word for that actually means something more like softness. I was thinking about, I think it's in 1 Peter. I think 1 Peter says, like husbands, treat your wives as the weaker vessel. And a lot of ladies stand really, I'm not weak. Okay, back down. Because it's not saying what you think it's saying. It's not calling you weak. It's actually calling you delicate. What Peter is saying, he's saying, don't treat your wife like everyday pottery. She's not everyday pottery. She's porcelain. She's delicate. She's valuable. She's breakable. So don't treat her like everyday pottery. You know, when my wife went to India a few years ago, one of the things that surprised her was that people would go on the streets, they would drink tea or they would drink coffee, and they would give them, instead of paper cups, they would give them these little these little pottery cups that were not glazed, they weren't finished, they were very ugly. And so they would drink their tea or they drink their coffee, and you know what they would do? They would throw it and smash it on the ground right there on the sidewalk, and everybody just walks on it. It was just pottery. It was just nothing. It was just disposable. And Peter is saying, listen, your wife is not disposable. She's not average, everyday pottery. She is porcelain, and she's to be valued and protected. You got to be soft towards her because she's delicate, and she is. Men, that'll preach right there. If you get nothing more out of it, that's going to treat you, it's going to serve you very well to think of it that way. Ladies in the room, can I ask you a question? Are you delicate? Are you valuable? So you don't get offended by that, do you? I've never met a woman who says, you better not call me porcelain. I'd rather be a pot, you know? I've never talked to that lady. If you're here in the room, I really don't want to talk to you after church because that's not going to be fun for me. Okay, so that's funny right there. Verse 7. Your stature is like, and we're going to hit verse 7 and 8. Your stature is like that of the palm, and your breasts like clusters of fruit. I said, I will climb the palm tree, and I will take hold of its fruit. May your breasts be like clusters of grapes on the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples. And you're saying, is he saying what I think he's saying? Yes. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I said we would keep this PG-13. Actually, it'll be less than that. Now, let's go to verse 9. Okay, I'm skipping right through 7 and 8, going to verse 9. We talked about that before. Okay, and this is him. He says, and your mouth like the best wine. And something unique happens. If you look in the text, some translations will show you this. All of a sudden, verse 9 doesn't end, but his speaking does. And now she takes over, and she finishes verse 9. So verse 9, he starts out and says, and your mouth is like the best wine. And she says, may the wine go straight to my beloved, flowing gently over his lips and teeth. She takes over with that sentence, with that thought. Let me tell you something I'm talking about healthy commitment. When you're in it for the long run, when you've been married for years, all of a sudden, watch this, everybody. You feel what he feels, and you think what he thinks. You feel what he feels, you think what he thinks. Because now you're committed. You've been living together now for a while. You've gotten to know each other really deeply. And not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And when he comes home and he says, babe, I've had a bad day. She says, oh, I know. I knew it was going to be rough. I've been praying for you all day today. Hey, tell me about it. Well, this guy at work, he's just a jerk. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. What can I do to help? And she's feeling what he's feeling. She's thinking what he's thinking. Everybody with me? I'm talking about healthy commitment here. And then go to verse 10. I belong to my beloved, and his desire is for me. What she's saying is, I belong to him, he belongs to me, and nobody else is getting in between us, ever. I belong to him forever, and he belongs to me forever. So nobody's going to interfere with our marriage, with our relationship. Watch this now. Verse 11, come, my beloved, let us go to the countryside. Let us spend the night in the villages. When did you read words like this? It was when they were courting. It was when they were dating. And now all of a sudden, they've been married for a long time. They're in the thick of things. They're in the thick of life. And what's she still doing? You know what? Let's go on a date. Let's go on a date. Let's spend some time together. In fact, we find out that that's what they do often. She says, verse 12, let us go early to the vineyards to see if the vines have budded, if their blossoms have opened, if the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. She said, remember, we used to court in the spring, and now we've been married for a long time, and it still feels like spring to me, because you light up my life. You give me, no, I'm just, okay, how many recognize that song? I'm going old school. You're like, where was the music today? It was a long week. We had fireworks. We didn't have time to put that together. In fact, my brother, everybody went back to the ER at Fort Wayne Lutheran with some more lung issues, and he's coming home tomorrow, I believe. But Wednesday I was there with him. So keep praying for my brother. He's not out of the woods yet, everybody. Still going through some tough things. So she's saying we courted in spring, and it's still spring. My marriage is so exciting. Can I ask you a question? Is your marriage still exciting? Is it still exciting? Or is it dull? Is it a garden or is it a factory? Is it springtime? Or is it just the day that you're going to work? Just another day. And it's meant to be exciting. Verse 13, the mandrakes send out their fragrance, and at our door is every delicacy, both new and old, that I have stored up for you, my beloved, both new and old, both new and old. Like we're the same, but yet it feels like some things are still new. I'm still learning about you. I'm still enjoying more about you. You know, every now and then, my wife will tell me stories that I've heard, 20 times before. I'm like, oh, this story, great, And I'm sure nobody else feels that way except for me. And then every now and then I'll just catch this story that she and I'll look at her and say, 27 years and I've never heard that before. That's a first for me. And I enjoy those stories. I love those stories. It just tells me more and more and more about my wife. I'm still learning about my wife, everybody. I don't have her all figured out yet. Now, some of those stories I'm kind of tired of hearing. Some of the same old, but she's not telling me those same stories. She's just telling others those same stories. And I just sit there and I just I've heard this story 50 times, but I'm going to hear it again. And trust me when I say I'm far worse at that than she is. I'm far worse at that. Like she has heard, when it comes to me, meeting and helping other people and counseling or mentoring other pastors, trust me, there are some same illustrations I use over and over and over again. And I'm sure she's rolling her eyes in her mind, but thankfully she doesn't do that on the outside, everybody. Can I tell you, your spouse is not perfect. They're not perfect. Your spouse has driven you nuts at times. Let me tell you something else. They're not done yet. They're not done yet. Can I get an amen to that, somebody? It's okay. Because you're going to drive your spouse nuts, whether you're a guy or a girl. I'm telling you, there's going to be some things that you do and say that they don't like. And everybody, you need to learn to appreciate them for who they are, value them for who they are, love them for who they are, and let them be them. Amen. Let them be them. You know what I tell people oftentimes? The very thing that was so attractive to you about your spouse when you were dating becomes the very thing that you're irritated about them after you're married. Oh, I just love him. He's so spontaneous. And 10 years later, you're like, he's driving me nuts. He never plans anything. He just one day, this is what we're going to do. Well, the very thing that you used to love about him is now what's bothering you about him. How does that make sense? You're like, well, it doesn't. I know it doesn't. And you need to love them for who they are, everybody. You need to love them for who they are. Okay, so what all of this is saying in chapter 7, they've been married now for a while, and they're showing their commitment, and they're showing that it's still exciting, it's still fun, I'm still enjoying my marriage, I'm enjoying my spouse, I look forward to all of the time that I have with him or her, and I'm learning new things about them, and there's the old, but there's the new as well, and he's saying, I'm just having the time of my life. She's saying, I'm just having the time of my life being married to you. We're talking about healthy commitment. And I want to do something here. I want to give you 7 signs of a healthy commitment. And what I want to do, if you're brave enough, what I want you to do is right next to these, I want you to put a value between 1 and 10. 10 being perfect. Now, this is for all of you married folks out there. Now, you don't have to, just be honest. There's no reason to lie. You know, if you're a 6, don't put down that you're a 10. Don't lie. That's not, what this is going to do is this is going to show you, if you do this, what areas you need to improve in personally. Remember, your response to this is your responsibility. We started this series saying you're not listening for someone else. You're listening for you. So I want you to think about this first word, for instance. The first word, 7 signs of a healthy commitment. The first one is priority. That I would say, my wife outside of God is my highest priority. She is my highest priority. Now, I would give myself about an 8.5, because the vast majority of the time I get that right. But every now and then, a few times a year, she'll tell me, you know what, you're choosing this, but I don't think you're choosing well. It feels like you're choosing others before you choose me. And that's when I have to say, I am so sorry. And I'll immediately change. Everybody with me? So what do you score yourself with? And be honest. Are you a 6? Are you a 4? Or are you a 10? Does your spouse outside of God have the highest priority in your life? Do you make sure that your spouse is well taken care of every day of your life? Okay, now, number 2, pursuit. How are you doing with that? Are you pursuing your spouse? Go ahead, give yourself a little number there between 1 and 10. Do you pursue your spouse? Do you flirt with your spouse? Do you invite your spouse to go on a date? I'm not talking about once a year. I'm talking about once a week. If you have little bitty kids, maybe once every 2 weeks. Are you pursuing your spouse? Are you calling them out of nowhere just to say that you love them? Are you shooting them little texts to say, you know what, I'm in this meeting, but I'm thinking about you? With a little smoochy face underneath it. You know what I'm talking about? Like pursuing your spouse. Are you doing that? How do you rate yourself? Number 3, partnership. In your marriage, is it you do your thing and she does hers, or she does her thing and you do yours? Or is it a partnership? No, we do everything together. I got to tell you something, everybody. A lot of times people will come up and they'll say, Pastor, wow, do we appreciate you? You've just done so, good. You're just, and they just build me up. And I want you to know, there has never been a major decision made at this church that my wife and I did not make together. Never. Everything that we do it together. We're partners. So you're not looking at just what I've been dreaming about for years. You're looking at what both my wife and I have been dreaming about for years. She dreams with me. She works with me. We partner together. Why? Because we are one. one. That doesn't mean that you have to work the same job. It doesn't mean that. It means that you have the same goals. You have the same priorities. You're aiming in the same direction. Are you partners? Rate yourself. Number 4, purity. Purity. Healthy commitments involve purity. That means I'm not letting things not only into our family and into our home, but I'm not letting things in my marriage that are not supposed to be there. I'm keeping my marriage pure. I'm keeping my marriage pure. Let me say it a different way. I'm not thinking about what life would be like with that guy I used to date when I was in high school. I'm not thinking about what life would be like with that girl that I used to date in college. I'm not wondering what it would be. I'm not searching, everybody listen to this. I'm not searching for them on Instagram or Facebook to see what they're doing now and where they're living and who they're married to. No. You're keeping your marriage pure. You are my one and only forever and for always. And I won't let anybody interrupt what we have together. Everybody see that? If you were to ask me, where were past girlfriends of mine, I don't know. I don't care. I've already married the greatest woman in the whole world. Why would I look anywhere else, everybody? It doesn't make sense. And some people, you get distracted. You're like, well, I wonder what life would be like. Stop it. Don't allow yourself to go there, everybody. You got to take that thought captive and make it surrender to Christ, because it will interrupt your marriage, and it could send you guys into a downward spiral, and it could break apart your family. Don't do it. Number 5, protection. Protection. Guys, you do really, really good at this. I've never met a guy who wouldn't give his life for his wife or his family. But I'm not talking about just physical protection. Gentlemen, are you protecting her feelings? Are you protecting her heart? Are you treating her like porcelain, or are you treating her like pottery that's just meant to be thrown away? Ladies, are you protecting his reputation? Are you protecting other people's view of your husband? Or are you putting him down? Are you trashing him in front of others? Everybody, we need to protect each other. That's what healthy commitments do. This is, by the way, this is good stuff right here. The next one is perseverance. Do you have a heart of perseverance? Rate yourself. What number would you give? Have you been like, well, things aren't good, and I've been tempted to just walk away? And no, hey, listen, you made a covenant before God. You said these words, till death do us part. From this day forward, for sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, till death do us part. Are you honoring that vow you made before God to persevere? The best person you could ever be married to is the person you're already married to, when both of you are healed by the power and the presence of God in your life, and you let go of the past. So when you pursue God together and you live a life of service and forgiveness and love, your marriage can be so exciting and so beautiful. But you got to put effort into it. Then the last one, 7 signs of a healthy commitment, is peace. 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 What does peace look like in your home? What does peace look like in your marriage? Are you at peace with one another? Or are there some things that you've been harboring for a little while, and your soul is not at rest, your mind is not at rest because you're at odds? The Bible says that it says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. What it's saying is, don't let time pass without you making some headway, significant headway, and resolving the conflict. As we said last week, not managing it, but resolving it. And again, if you need help with that, we're here for you. We can help you with that. I'm so thankful, everybody, to say that my marriage is one of peace. If you want to know the truth, I'm a 10 at that. My wife and I, we're at 10s when it comes to that, because we're just madly in love with each other. I think about her all the time. When we're not together, it just drives me nuts. I hate it. When she goes on mission trips without me, I'm happy and sad at the same time. I'm happy I don't have to go. But I'm sad that she loves him so much and she wants to leave me at home by myself, and it hurts. In all reality, I love that about my wife. I love that she's missions minded. I love that she leads mission trips and a lot of them throughout the year. In fact, I think she's leaving in a week or two for another one, going to Panama, taking a group down to Panama. And I love that about her, and we're at peace. Whenever she's gone, I think about her nonstop. I send her text messages every day. Oh, I love you. Oh, I've been praying for you. I miss you so much. Can't wait for you to get home. Oh, and then it's a good day when she comes home, everybody. Wink, wink. You know, I had to throw that in there. Because I'm lost without her. She's my better half. She's part of me. We're one. We're at peace. I don't have a perfect marriage because we're not perfect, but I have a great one. And my wife and I, we try to model that for you. And we hit bumps in the road. But you know what we do? We fall off the horse. We just get back on it again. We make our apologies and we don't hold it against each other. We forgive each other. We resolve it and we move on. And I'm going to pray for you today. If you're next to your spouse, why don't you put your arm around them or hold their hand and let me pray for you. Heavenly Father, today we make a commitment. We make a commitment to honor you by honoring one another. We commit this day to be people who not only pursue you, but pursue each other. That we make our spouse priority outside of you, you first, but then our spouse. To pursue them, to persevere. Lord, I pray for any couple that's struggling with difficulties in their marriage, that you would develop in them a heart of forgiveness, a heart of love, a heart of compassion, a heart of a desire. And the Lord, they would take responsibility for what they've done and what they've said personally. They would own up to it, and you would heal their marriage, I pray. Let this series, let this day be the conduit for healing in their life. Let it be the spark that sets their marriage on fire like they've never known. So much passion, so much love, so much devotion towards one another, Lord, like never before. Let it be stronger than it's ever been. So I bless them with every good and perfect thing that you have for their lives. Bless them with healing in their marriage and in their hearts. And let them be a model of your love and your grace and your mercy. And Lord, for those of us who are counseling and are encouraging them, offering wisdom and advice from your word, Lord, I ask for wisdom, that you would help us to speak life, to speak wisely, and to help them experience healing in their lives. Remind us what a high calling it is to invest in the lives of others. We love you, and we thank you for doing it. In Jesus' name, amen.